Good morning and welcome to St Mary's Church. Now I'm somewhere in North Wales. There's another one of them ones I can't pronounce, but it's more like a little chapel. This it's a tiny little thing, which I'll show you while filming. But today, I'm afraid, is another very sad one. Now most people will probably remember this case. Now I'm in North Wales at the moment, but the crime actually happened in Kent. And it was a mother with her two daughters. Fortunately, one of the daughters survived, but the other one, unfortunately, didn't, and neither did she. And I'm, of course, talking about Lin and Megan Russell. Yeah, so there's a little chapel behind me. It's a tiny little thing. But yeah, Lin and Megan Russell unfortunately were attacked with a hammer and sadly lost their lives. Now they've obviously been brought home. It is an absolutely beautiful place, beautiful area. Well, what we'll do is I'll spin you around, same as usual. I'll show you around this lovely little churchyard, and then we'll go and visit the final resting place of Lin and Megan Russell.
It seemed like a normal day for Lin Russell when she left the school swimming gala with her two young daughters on Tuesday the 9th of July 1996. But little could she have known that her family was about to become victims of one of Kent's most horrific crimes ever. The 45-year-old and her children, Megan 6 and Josie 9, set off to walk home from the school with their family dog at around 4 p.m. Around 20 minutes later, they approached Garndolbenmaen, a narrow and quiet unmade track in the countryside off Station Road near the small village of Chillenden, between Canterbury and Deal in Kent. It was then that a car drove past them and Josie waved to the driver. As they walked further down the lane, they found the same car was parked across the track and the driver, a man, got out of the car with a hammer in his hand. He demanded cash from the family, but Lin had left her purse at home. She offered to go back to the house with him to give him money, but he refused. Lin told Josie to run to the nearest house to get help, but he grabbed her and hit her over the head with the hammer, although he only inflicted a slight injury. But the truly sickening worst was about to come. All three of the family and the dog were then walked into a dense area of trees, where they were tied up by the attacker with strips from Josie's blue swimming towel, a bootlace and a pair of tights. He then launched a brutal attack on Lin, a doctor, and bludgeoned her to death, striking her on the head at least 15 times in front of her helpless young daughters. Josie was last to be attacked after Megan had been struck at least 7 times, suffering massive skull fractures. When the three bodies were discovered later that day, the head injuries looked so bad that Lin's husband and the girl's father, Dr. Sean Russell, was initially told all three had died. Remarkably, Josie was still alive, albeit barely, with a very faint pulse. She was rushed to King's College Hospital in London, where she was saved and somehow went on to make a miraculous recovery. Tragically though, Lin, Megan and the family dog Lucy all succumbed to their injuries and were pronounced dead at the scene. Detective Chief Inspector Dave Stevens of Kent Police said 2 days after the attack, "This is the most horrific and terrible murder I have had the misfortune to come across in my 23 years as a police officer." In July 1997, police arrested 37-year-old Michael Stone for the crimes after tip-offs resulting from a reconstruction on BBC's Crime Watch UK. A psychiatrist called to report his suspicions of Stone, and another 2 nursing staff called in, also naming Stone. These medical workers, who had worked with Stone before the attacks, reported that by 4th of July, 5 days before the murders, Stone was becoming increasingly enraged and had aggressively threatened to kill people and their families. The psychiatrist further recalled that Stone had threatened his probation officer with a hammer. Stone had told a psychiatric nurse that he dreamt about torturing people and that he fantasized about killing children and running about in the woods, and when he passed by children he felt like killing them, and also claimed to have attacked people with hammers. He had also said that he was angry with the world and was going to do something bad. Stone had also begged to be admitted as an inpatient to a psychiatric unit at the time, but he was refused as he was seen as too dangerous. A friend also phoned police after the reconstruction on Crime Watch UK to say he believed Stone looked like the E-fit shown on the programme and reported that he had recently been acting strangely. Another friend said he had seen Stone wearing blood-soaked clothes on the day of the murders, although Stone's reply to this was that he had been involved in a fight. In Stone's past, he is known to have accidentally killed his partner by injecting him with too much heroin, causing an overdose. Police also questioned him about the death of a friend who fell under a London tube train as he stood next to Stone. He later boasted that he pushed the man under the train. Police also suspect Stone of having killed Francis Chagall, who was found stabbed to death in a park in Maidstone in 1976. Chagall was a 65-year-old Guernsey man who was a former special constable. Stone allegedly later told a psychiatrist that he was responsible for the robbery and murder of Chagall. Shortly before his arrest for the murders in 1997, Stone had threatened to kill his sister and one of her children, and smashed up her car. Stone attempted suicide at least twice while on remand. Stone pleaded not guilty at the trial in 1998. The jury took nearly 15 hours over 2 days to find Stone guilty by a 10-2 majority. The Court of Appeal ordered a retrial in February 2001 after 2 witnesses had their evidence discredited. However, in the second trial in 2001, he was again convicted of the murders, the jury taking less time than in the first trial to find him guilty. On the 21st of December 2006, a High Court judge decided that Stone should spend at least 25 years in prison before being considered for parole. On the 29th of November 2017, BBC Wales reported that Levi Belfield had allegedly confessed to the murders to a fellow prisoner, giving details that would only be known to the killer. Belfield denied that he committed the murders and denied making the confession. In May and June 2017, the case was scrutinised in a 2-part BBC Two programme, The Chillenden Murders, in which a team of independent experts re-examined the evidence and suggested that the wrong man may have been convicted. The funeral of Lin and Megan Russell was at St Mary's Church, a 14th century church in North Wales, which is where we are today.
Well, that's all the information I could get on Lin and Megan Russell. As you heard, it's a very sad case. It was in the news for literally weeks after it happened. And it happened in Kent, which is the neighbouring county to mine. Now, I do remember this. I do remember this case. And I've often wondered where they were, but I wasn't sure what their names were. But luckily, my sister's always useful when it comes to murder victims. She does love her true life crime. But this was a very bad case, and rumour has it that Levi Belfield actually claimed responsibility. But when he was questioned by authorities, he denied he'd ever made the claim. So, did the right man go to prison? I don't think this is a Levi Belfield case. In my personal opinion, I think the right man is serving his time. But it's such an awful case. I mean, killing a young girl and her mother with a hammer and thinking they'd actually killed their second daughter as well. It's a despicable crime, and if the wrong man has gone down, then there really is no God. And the really upsetting thing about this one as well is their grave marker. For such a well-known case, you would have thought that someone would have made a bit more of an effort with this. I know it's only a grave marker for such a horrible crime, such a well-known case. You would have thought somebody would have done something. But anyway, it is literally right in front of me, so I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at it together. Well, actually, while we're on our way down, it's an unusual one. It's just like a little boulder. It's been sawn in half. Anyway, this is it. This tiny, tiny little grave marker, more or less all by itself. It has got one next to it, which I don't think is related. No, it's not related. But here we go. E.R. Corporal, I think that's obviously Welsh. Lin Russell, 1951 to 1996. Megan Russell, 1989 to 1996. That's all it's got written on it. But that sad little stone now is the final resting place of Lin and Megan Russell. I did my research on this very, very recently because I've got a list of videos which I wanted to make, and this one just came up out of nowhere really. So I've only researched it within the last few days, and watching the documentaries and reading about them online, and when you're literally at their graveside, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. But anyway, that was the final resting place of Lin and Megan Russell. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, could you please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, then maybe consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, will not cost you a penny. All you've got to do is hit that subscribe button, and if you do decide to subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Well, that's it. Me, Darren, from St Mary's Church in, well, I'm somewhere in North Wales. I'll put the location up on the screen. But it's a beautiful, beautiful location. Very, very nice. Half these, or more than half of these headstones are written in Welsh. I saw one that was 1797. But anyway, that's me, Darren, from St Mary's Church in North Wales. I'll see you on the next one, wherever I am. So, bye-bye for now.